A very warm welcome to this, the first film in our Thresholds series, in which we'll start by looking at what the term threshold means. The word threshold is used in a range of different contexts. The terms threshold value and pain threshold, for example, clearly mean different things. What they have in common, however, is the notion of a transition between two different states or places. The same is true of a threshold strip, which marks the transition from one room or space to another, or, more precisely, forms the lower part of a doorway opening. In this photograph, the threshold is clearly visible thanks to its striking design. In terms of construction, the function of a door threshold strip is the same as that of the door jambs and header that make up the frame, to avoid unpleasant drafts and the transmission of noise. When closed, the door presses against the side edge of the threshold strip. Another function of the threshold strip is to create a separation, in both construction and design terms, between the floor coverings on either side of the rooms connected by the door. This may be required when the parquet floor coverings run in different directions or are of different heights, as in the photograph here. Whether a threshold strip is seen as separating or connecting two rooms or spaces creates contrasting architectural effects. If the aim is to emphasize the separation, the threshold can be the height of a step. If it is to create two spaces that flow seamlessly one into the other, the threshold can be replaced by a floor that runs right through the opening. The threshold of an outer door has another significant function. It prevents any water that may build up outside the door during heavy rain, for example, from entering the building. In the photograph on the right-hand side here, the threshold, a block of natural stone, is 2 to 3 centimeters higher on the inside so that it also provides a stop at the lower edge of the door. A threshold also has a strong symbolic meaning. Carrying the bride over the threshold on her wedding day is a tradition that dates back to Roman times. Originally, it was a symbolic gesture by which the groom took possession of his wife as she entered her new role as a faithful and loving mate, ready to endure anything. Not surprisingly, it has all but disappeared today. Summary. The word threshold describes a transition between two different states or places. The same is true of a threshold strip, which refers to the transition from one room or space to another. In terms of construction, the function of a threshold strip is the same as that of the door jambs and header that make up the frame, to avoid unpleasant drafts and the transmission of noise. Another function of the threshold strip is to create a separation, in both construction and design terms, between the floor coverings on either side of a door. Exterior doors also need to prevent the ingress of standing water outside of the door. Our Thresholds series continues with film number 2, in which we consider the key characteristics of exterior doors.